Hello and welcome back. I'm Deirdre and today I want to talk about the things that are holding us back from living our best lives. Now, some of you may well be leading fabulous lives and I'd love to hear from you what it is that makes you feel really wonderful in your life. But other people, because we were talking about downsizing, empty nesting, all of those things, there are some people, when you go through these major life transitions, what's the difference between those people who say, wow, I am so happy, my life is so good, and the ones who get stuck? And they can get stuck physically in space, or they can get stuck emotionally. I think it's really important to look at these two particular things that I think hold us back. One is emotional. That's the first one. And as we've gone through life, there have been ups and downs, and for some there have been more than others. Some people have gone through terrible grief, others have gone through things that are totally unfair and have left them feeling wounded and as though they've been taken advantage of, or that life has just let them down, that they really never made anything that they feel is valuable out of their lives. Those sorts of things can really trap people in an emotional state that makes sure that they can't lead their best life. And it's really, really hard. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that it's easy, but the only way to go forward from this is to let it go. And it doesn't mean that you're saying, hey, everything that happened to me was fine, but it does say that I am choosing to not let those things determine how my future is. And that's the important bit, that it's a choice, that you make that decision to let it leave your life, to get rid of the story so that you are not your story. I've mentioned it before, it's that word agency, when you get to choose. The people who get to choose things are always happier than the people who don't. And you actually get that agency. You can select that agency. It doesn't have to be offered to you. You've got the chance to take that yourself, to say, hey, I am not going to let my past dictate my future. These are very real things that we have to deal with, and you can choose to leave it behind. Doesn't say it was right, doesn't say it was fair, doesn't say that the terrible grief that some people have had to endure in their lives was a good thing. Not for one moment. But it does say that the past does not get to be the thing that determines how your future looks. You have to just wake up in the morning and say, I am not my story. I will leave it behind. I'll leave behind the bitterness. I'll leave behind the grief. I won't leave behind the memories. Memories can stay. Just stop attaching them to yourself emotionally. There's a very big difference between a memory and an emotional tie. And I think if you can work on the difference between those two, then that's a hugely freeing thing. And you can be Elsa in Frozen and let it go. Do it without the ice. I think the ice looks really cold. I don't like the ice. So that's step one. Step two is the physical stuff. Now, for many people, before they downsize, it's totally overwhelming. Frankly, for people at any stage, you can look around their home and feel trapped in a state, in a particular place that you just can't get past. You go, oh, I can't do anything else because everything is on top of me. Now, you may have a home that looks perfectly lovely to everybody else, but you know that you have too many things for you, that you don't feel right about it. Or maybe you have a monster zone. I always loved in Friends that Monica had a Monica closet where everything got stuffed. If anybody was coming over, you stuff it all in the Monica closet. Shut the door and then everything's tidy. It's lovely. We all sometimes have a Monica closet. Well, I certainly do anyway. It goes in my study and I shut the door. Monster zones is the other thing I call them. So even though you may have a home that everybody else says, oh, but your home's so beautiful, in here you know you have a couple of monster zones. Maybe it's a cupboard, maybe it's an attic, maybe it's a basement, maybe it's just a room that nobody sees, maybe it's just the fact that you feel like you have too many things for you at this stage of your life. It's a subjective thing. It's entirely about how you feel. On the other hand, you just may be a bit of a messy pup. No judgment. Some people are tidy, some people are a bit messy. I don't care, no judgment. But if it's keeping you stuck, and you certainly can't downsize a messy home, and you can't declutter a messy home, and I know that sounds ironically sort of odd, but it is. First you have to sort of tidy up, and then you can get to know what you've got, find out how many doubles and triples of things you have when you put them back in the place they're meant to live, or you find them a place to live and you go, oh my god, I really don't have enough places for anything else to live. So you can't have a place for everything and everything in its place because you run out of places. The thing then is to do a tidy up. Know what you've got. Throw those bits of rubbish away. But I would say don't try to do a classic declutter at that point. That can sort of come when you've cleared a few horizontal surfaces and you've got your kitchen tidy again and you've got your bathroom tidy. And I always think the bedroom is a really important one to keep tidy because that's in theory where you're meant to sleep. Sleeping is not something I'm good at. I'm working on it. But those sorts of things really matter. So once you've got frankly a good old-fashioned tidy up done, then you're in a position to declutter and to go through and decide, you know, does it bring me joy? Whatever it is that you want to, sorry, I do need a haircut, I'm getting a haircut next week, my fringe is too long. Anyone who's ever had a fringe or bangs or whatever knows that they go from being perfect to too long in about half an hour. Just one of those things. So you know that there are lots of different ways you can go about it, but I would say if you are liable to be a little bit overwhelmed by these things, then do have a timer. You know all the rules. Use a timer. Do one drawer or one horizontal surface or one cupboard or the refrigerator or whatever. Do one area at a time. And if you are downsizing, it's far, far more than have I used it or does it bring me joy. It's will I actually have space for this in my new home? And you simply, I can tell you from personal experience that a great deal of the things that brought me absolute joy still had to go. That downsizing is not decluttering. Downsizing is getting rid of enough of your possessions of a lifetime that made your home, that built your family nest, that did all the lovely things that you wanted it to do. And now if you're moving to a smaller home for whatever reason, you simply cannot have them anymore. You don't just choose what brings you joy. You have to say, how much joy does it bring you? Does it bring me more than something else? And you just have to keep whittling down and whittling down until you have the amount of belongings that work for you in your downsize space. Anyway, I hope that this wasn't too long and too rambly. It was a wee bit rambly. So please, if you want some more of this, would you subscribe, give me a thumbs up and share, because I know that many of you will have friends that this may be a useful thing for them. I'm going to be back with more along the same lines, and I hope that whatever you're doing today, you're having a wonderful time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.